Welcome to Sunday Scaries Skill Sessions, episode 25. Today I'm going to be talking about regression. So if you are going home for the holidays, you might want to listen to this one. So regression is what happens when you swing into old patterns of behavior, old roles that you may have played. And this is really common for people to notice whenever they go back home into their childhood environments where, let's say now you are an established and successful adult, but you notice when you go back home, suddenly you're thrown right back into being that teenager again. So let's say you were the rebel or the problem child. And again, you might have complete control over that. You might not really display any of those qualities as an adult, but then you go back home and suddenly you're argumentative and combative and all those things. And so that can be really frustrating, especially for people who have specifically worked to overcome those behaviors. And where people have felt like they've been successful with that, and then suddenly they go back home and it's like it's blown out of the window. So a little explanation of what's going on there is that the regression is sort of the work of our neural pathways that have already been established. So you can think of neurons as behaving a same way or a way similar to how human beings would behave if we're walking through tall grass. Okay, so if there is an established path that's already created through that grass, we're likely to follow that established path much more than we are to create a new path. And your neurons behave the same way. So when you're in an environment where a certain pattern of behavior has become like the normal path, whenever you are then exposed to that environment again, your neurons are going to kind of go, oh, okay, we know what to do. We've done this before. And they're going to try to follow along that established path. So what you want to do to overcome regression is to try to bring as much of your current adult life home as you can. And what that's going to do is it's going to get your neurons to start to establish a new path versus trying to just follow along that pre-established path from your adolescence. So that could be all kinds of things. So maybe it's new foods that you're into or a new band that you really like. Anything that is a big part of your current life as an adult, you want to bring that home and try to incorporate it into your time while you're visiting so that your brain can kind of remember like, oh, okay, we're different now. Like we behave differently now. We have new skills now, whatever the case may be. And so you have to be very aware going into things like that this exists. So first of all, the awareness of what's going on physiologically is really important because we don't notice our neurons firing. That's not something that we are aware of. But we can be very aware of the effect that the neurons are having on our physiology. So if you start to notice that you're getting escalated or upset, you really want to pay attention to that and make some effort to ground yourself. So again, pulling in things from your adult life. That could mean like listening to a new song that you're into. It could mean calling a friend it's going to be more effective if it's not a childhood friend, but if it's a newer friend or a friend that's specific to your adult life, to kind of pull you back to the time that you're currently in your adulthood. And you want to be vigilant around catching that because data kind of suggests here that if you let that go on for too long, and it shows about 20 minutes, if you don't catch it within that 20 minutes, it's very hard to reel it back in. So you want to be really paying attention to your body and the reactions that you're having to your environment so that you can catch it before it goes to that point of no return. So again, doing things that pull you back into your adult life, and then you can also do different grounding techniques. So I've named many of those on different Sunday Scaries sessions, so you can look through those. One I might suggest that's quick and easy is to have your feet flat on the floor and have straight back, hands on your lap, and to escalate your breathing, meaning you're going to start with something small. So maybe inhaling for about 3 seconds and exhaling for 3. The next time you're going to inhale for 4, exhale for 4. The next time you'll inhale for 5, exhale for 5, so on and so forth until you feel like your body is calming down. And that's just going to ground you to the present moment. It's going to calm your body back down, and it's going to give you the chance to not slip back into those regressive behaviors. So you really want to be paying attention to that. But also knowing that it's a totally normal thing that happens to a lot of people, especially if you're in your 20s, it's even more common. But knowing ahead of time that that's something that you're susceptible to can really change the outcome. I would also say going in with an established goal for the holiday, the visit, whatever, that can be helpful too. So that in those moments, if you find yourself going back to that rebel role or whatever, then you can kind of remind yourself, okay, who do I want to be through this time? So I'm going to be here for, 3, 4, 5 days. Who do I want to be over the course of these 4 days? And really going in with a value or a clear goal of how you want the weekend to go and who you want to be, something you have control over. And so just going in with that clear goal, knowing that regression is normal and that there are things that you can do to work against it. And again, those two things are mainly keeping yourself grounded, so catching yourself before you get too escalated, grounding yourself, and then also bringing in pieces of your current adult life home so that those neurons can start to create a new path and that you don't find yourself just stuck in that already established path from your adolescence. So be sure to be thinking about what you can bring home whenever you go to visit your families for the holidays, and hopefully that will help y'all be a little more successful with your visits.